Eben Blaze here. Today, we're gonna be talking about the background, the past, and the lore of a certain male Knights operator. Here's the hint. Okay, sorry, I feel like I'm gonna get 2 shotguns to the face. Anyways. Yes, you got that right. Today we'll be going into the story and lore of Operator Executor, the cold, distant Sancta operator from late Raino. Executor has appeared in 2 events so far, the vignette event Operational Intelligence and Guide Ahead. He's soon due to appear in Hortus de Escapismo in Global, where he gets the spotlight as the protagonist and gets his alter version as Executor the Ex Foedere. And no, this video will not contain any spoilers about Hortus de Escapismo, other than the images. I've seen some videos on Hortus story already, so I probably won't be doing that unless requested, ? I will be briefly talking about the canon manga of Executor and Arturia as kids, though. Alright, let's get to know Executor better. Executor, real name Federico Gello, is an executor from the late Raino notary Hall, joining Rhodes Island to, officially, ensure the rights of late Raino citizens. What does that mean? A quick late Raino history lesson. Late Raino is a country made up of primarily Sancta and Liberi. The administrative institution of the church, which governs late Raino, is divided into departments called tribunals. The 5th tribunal, notably, is the official legislative bureau that is responsible for enforcing the 13 rights of the Lateran citizens, and is where the notary Hall comes under. The executors of the notary Hall, and the apostolic knights, the military of late Raino, are the only exceptions that are allowed to raise their firearms against another Sancta, since they are authorized to use lethal force when carrying out their duties. Other Sancta will become fallen should they raise their guns against another Sancta, even if by accident, identifiable by traits such as a dimmer or shattered halo and wings, and regrowing sarcas traits such as their tail and horns. The notary Hall carries out tasks such as the retrieval of a late Raino citizen's patron firearm after they pass away, but most of the time they actually deal with more menial and ordinary legal problems such as collecting taxes, managing estates, and other legal matters. One of Federico's first assignments as an executor was to track down his cousin Arturia Gello, who is a wanted criminal in late Raino and escaped to Lithanine to take refuge. But what is their relationship when they were younger? There is one thing strange about Federico's personality compared to most people. He rarely ever seems to understand emotions, nor have any of his own, causing him to take many statements purely at face value. As his archive file describes, his issue is more that he doesn't understand the meaning that people attribute to facts or situations. His lack of empathetic ability is more due to a mechanical absorption of information rather than any psychopathic tendencies. And funnily enough, this does make him the perfect executor for the notary Hall, one that isn't weighed down by the empathetic ability that Sancta Halos have and can execute his duties perfectly. Apparently, Executor is also really good with robots and machines, and says he understands machines far better than he does people. His good looks, and, his ability to fix computerized systems have definitely made him pretty popular in Rhodes, but with his inability to understand the meaning of emotions to others, it's probably safe to say that no one has succeeded. Federico has carried this lack of emotion since young. The Manhua Prelude Suite, Unrestrained Play describes a deeper insight into what happened between him and Arturia at a young age, and why it developed into their present-day conflict. Warning, spoilers for the Manhua ahead. For the full details you can check out the Terra Wiki link, I'll leave it in the description. Federico appears to have been adopted by Arturia's parents, and he regards her as closely as an older sister. As Arturia plays the cello for their friends, Federico expresses that her skill is good, but he doesn't feel anything in particular from it. Later on, Arturia starts to display her talent that amplifies people's emotions by playing her cello. This unfortunately indirectly caused her mother's death. Her song amplified her need to do more against the war going on outside of late Raino, and she left the family with no warning. Her family only found out when she was killed in action sometime after fulfilling her lifelong dream to become a war correspondent, long resenting her inability to do anything for those affected by the war. Arturia's father was heavily affected by this, particularly when reading her mother's will that thanked Arturia for her music that freed the bonds holding her back previously. He, unfairly, takes out his emotions on Arturia, until she reaches for her cello and starts to play it again. As she starts to play, her father's mood seems to change into terror and fear, and he turns and runs away. Federico, who has witnessed both accounts, the first time Arturia played for her mother, and now for her father, watches him flee. He's noticeably unaffected by Arturia's music, however, even as Arturia asks him if it sounds good, looking tired and sad. At her mother's funeral, with her father now missing, Arturia picks up the cello and plays it once more, forcing everyone at the funeral, except Federico, to succumb to their emotions. The attendees start expressing their true feelings, some not understanding what kind of dream could drive her mother to leave her perfect family, some ex-co-workers even happy that she left, which gave them a promotion, some conversely annoyed with the paperwork her death left. Leaving Federico as the only one unaffected, as he seizes Arturia's wrist and tries to stop her from playing, asking her why she's doing so. Arturia only tells him that she wants to help them to face their true emotions and feelings, to fight for and get back their freedom. Present-day Federico reflects that was the first time that he realized Arturia felt that people had too many ties/bonds, and her music would help to bring people's suppressed emotions to the surface. Only in this way would one be able to live with no regrets, following one's desires, both for her audience and for herself. The manhua ends with present-day Federico preparing to continue his mission of hunting down Arturia and bringing her to justice under late Raino law. So, indeed, Federico's first assignment as a notary hall executor was to find and arrest Arturia for a crime, unknown exactly, committed in late Raino, and later on extended onto countries such as Colombia, Sargon, and Victoria, eventually ending up in Lithuania. Additionally, this voice line of Executor is specifically referring to Arturia. Executor says that he both does not understand the illusion that her music creates, nor what people make out of it. Which probably also makes him the best executor to arrest Arturia, with her dangerous musical talent. His appearance in Operational Intelligence under the story Survival Notarization describes how he met Operator Vermal while carrying out his task as a notary hall executor. A childless late Raino citizen met Vermal in a forest in Syracuse, and named her as his heir in his will. Executor proceeds to disarm the traps left around the area, dodging Vermal's arrow shots, until he manages to, in his terms, demonstrate the power differential. Eventually he, convinces Vermal and takes her to Rhodes Island for treatment of her oropathy. Executor's story in Operational Intelligence gives us a pretty good view of what's the full extent of the job description for notary hall executors, tracking a Vulpo into the forests of Syracuse to carry out the will of a deceased late Raino citizen. 4-1. Executor's next appearance is as a supporting character in Guide Ahead. Still tracking Arturia between his other notary hall missions, his trail leads him to Cecilia's mother, the Sancta, who met a Sarkaz and had a half-Sancta, half-Sarkaz child, to Oren Argiola's revealing his betrayal, where he defends Ezel, enforcer. Amusingly, his colleague Richeli, who later will join us as insider, complains of never being able to get used to Federico's way of speaking so incredibly formally, like a robot. Near the end of the event, Oren asks Federico how he managed to find him, since it was through several connections that involved Cecilia's mother by chance, and Federico tells him that he was searching for Arturia. Oren then reveals to him that he did meet Arturia once, in Lithuania. Federico's search for Arturia will continue until he finally arrests her for her crimes, and who knows how they'll interact when meeting each other for the first time in a long while in Hortus de Escapismo. We'll get to know soon, hopefully with Executor as our Christmas present. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.
あれ、あいつもしかして交渉人役場の？私の義務履行を監視に？マジ勘弁だわ。毎月ちゃんと税金払ってるっしょ。まあどっちにしろ次にあいつが来た時は逃げやすいようにこっそり教えてよね。